Welcome to the exciting world of the movies.
Hello, retro movie lovers. Welcome back to the month of October here. We got a really a chilling movie. I don't know how spooky, I don't know how kooky, I don't know how eerie it is, but it is chilling to the bone. Ain't that right, Zach?
Fucking chilling to the boner. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're watching the incest fucking classic.
The incest classic.
The movie that you basically, I want to have kids just so I can show them this movie someday.
Yeah. Which I think I first saw this movie, Zach, when I was like 11 or 12 years old. Like, I didn't see it right away. I saw it on a video, not even really video, like cable or something. Or maybe just even like regular TV when it finally came on. We'll get into it a little bit. To me, Flowers in the Attic was just this like one movie based on this one book. There is a whole cinematic universe, a whole book universe that continues literally to this day based around this story, and I had no idea. So I got V.C. Andrews pilled for the first time. I was this many years old this past week when I found out about the V.C. Andrews empire.
Fucking incredible. V.C. Andrews, the person that created VCR. Like, we should we shouldn't even be surprised by the Kino in this person.
Yeah, and it's really amazing because her family, I mean, talk about, making money off those technology patents. V.C. Andrews invented the VCR, and then her cousin, V.H. Smith, invented the tapes to go into the VCR. So it's pretty amazing.
Incredible. I love this family already.
I know. So we're going to get rolling here. I'm rolling off the Blu-ray. Zach is rolling off the Prime Video stream. On the Blu-ray, it's 11 seconds in. I should say, too, I have the Arrow Blu-ray. I didn't even know that. I think there's like an MGM Blu-ray with this as well. But I first saw this available on the Arrow Blu-ray. Not that this podcast is sponsored by Arrow in any way, Arrow Video in any way, because I slam them harder than any other company out there. But which we just did a 3-hour extravaganza, the longest movie graveyard ever, Zach.
Hell yes, I'm excited.
And the end of it, we celebrate the 7th anniversary, which you weren't there for. You were recording a very low testosterone live stream that was slandering you on air in front of millions.
Exactly. Fucking very low testosterone.
Yeah. But as part of that 7-year anniversary, obviously, I wanted to thank you, Zach, for being a part of, at this point, multi-years of that 7-year history. So thank you.
Fucking the most Kino fucking podcast on the planet. Fucking I should be honored. Fucking exactly. Fucking I'm in awe over here. Fucking I'm not worthy.
V.C. Andrews should be honored that you're talking about her film right here.
Exactly. Fucking incest classic. That does fucking
Exactly.
The main reason we went to the movie to watch this movie, it's not even in the movie. They took out all the incest. Why? We want to see incest. That's the whole reason we read the book. You think we would have read that shit if there wasn't incest in it?
They were saving it to use later, the incest material. They were saving it up to use later in the film Wedding Crashers. But then that was going to be the sequel. But then it just ended up being its own movie onto itself. So I have it paused at 11-second mark where it says New World Pictures and Fries Entertainment or Fries Entertainment present. So yeah, that's where it's paused at. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And when you hear me say go, please hit play on your remotes if you happen to be playing along at home. All right. Are you ready, Zach?
I am ready, baby.
You got your Roku remote in hand?
I do.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go.
I'm actually watching a DVD rip of this. I'm not watching it on Prime.
Yeah, okay. It's probably better quality. All right. So here we go. Right off the bat, Flowers in the Attic. And this is a famous mansion. It was back east. They were, I think it was like around Boston. They were able to get it. I forget what the family was, but it was like a multi-generational wealthy family. I actually let them come film this incest in their home.
Fucking hell yeah. Christy Swanson. We saw her credit. Jeb Stewart Adams. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about any of these people. We wanted to see Christy Swanson get incest sexed. Fucking on screen.
Louise Fletcher, amazing actress. Good thing we didn't record this episode last week, Zach, because she chose to pass away this week, so now we can pay honor to her.
Fucking Kino royalty. Fucking
Louise, rest in peace.
oh yes. So what do you think about this movie, baby? Do you think did you ever read the book?
No.
Me neither.
And what I didn't understand, Zach, and it was explained really well in the commentary. They had a lady who was I can't remember if she was a magazine editor or author, but she like covers horror movies and shit in the UK. And she was talking about this book and how this book is a rite of passage. Because the book is actually way different than the movie. I grew up thinking that Flowers in the Attic was the ultimate tale of horror in terms of like what parents would be willing to do to their unwanted children. But it turns out really like this was the original 50 Shades of Grey when it came out. All these high school, middle school girls would actually, according to this author on here on the commentary track, they would actually read this book and diddle themselves. It was so lurid.
Fucking the incest sex was hot to the fucking teenage girls back in the day.
It was. I mean, I don't even know if it was really the incest angle. I think it was just the fact that there was sex that you could get in your school library, you know.
Oh. Or what, did that really happen, or was it just somebody trying to fucking like moral outrage? Like we got to get that book out of there. Like he could have just been making that up.
I feel like it went pretty under the radar at the time, Zach, because the book originally came out in 1978. And by the time that they made, obviously it's way more now, but at the time they made this movie around 87, they said by that time, so whatever that is, 9 years, that they had sold like 42 million copies.
Incredible.
So I think just like the kids were all buying the books or checking the books out of the library, and like the parents didn't really catch on. You know what I mean?
Fucking, we just saw fucking the greatest fucking incest fucking father in film history that we find out later.
He came home and the incest children were very pleased to see him. Like they loved him.
He doesn't look like an incest daddy.
He does. But I have to say, like, I was surprised. Like, this was a pretty creepy scene here when he brings Christy Swanson, the dancing, what do you call it, the music box ballerina.
Exactly.
It's very like, and like, you know, like when I was like watching the movie, I didn't think anything of it because this is the first time I had seen this movie in a few years. You know, I saw it a couple times as a kid, and I think I saw it like 3, 4, it might have been more. It might have been like 5 or 6 years ago on cable, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. So like I bought the Blu-ray, but you know, maybe like a year ago when we were doing this, like I pretty much devised a plan for us to do this episode just so I could finally watch my Blu-ray.
Fucking the king. So how insidious do you think this is? Do you think the father fucking, what if they were breeding their incest babies to eventually have sex with their incest, but like what if it got that crazy? But then like he died and it fucked up their plan, so she just ended up, because like the dad must be fucking a terrible person to be married to this fucking terrible person, as we come to find out later in the movie the mom is.
So right. Yeah, so like I mean, we're going to have spoilers. Like all these kids are incest kids, and they don't even realize it. They don't realize it, Zach. Like they never heard the stories. But like the scene where the dad is talking to Christy Swanson, saying, "You're my favorite out of all my children," and all this kind of stuff. Like the mom is actually peeking in the window or the door crack, and she's like really pissed off looking. And because I was kind of like unfamiliar with this movie, hadn't seen it in a few years, I thought she was like watching like, oh, like he's a creep, he's creeping on my daughter. But later you find out she's just jealous, like she just hates her own kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly. She's like fucking Christy Swanson. She's more of a Stacy than even I am, and she's not even 18 yet, and she's an incest baby. What the fuck does that say?
Exactly.
But she's just down on herself, baby. She's a nice young Stacy. She's a big Stacy.
Which I gotta say, like it's no secret to loyal listeners of this podcast. Like I'm a big Christy Swanson fan. Just I think she's awesome.
Exactly.
But you know how they always say you have post nut clarity, Zach. Like I think this is the first time in my life I have pre nut clarity, because I was like I was all rare and like excited. Oh, I want to watch a hot Christy Swanson flick tonight, and I put it in, and like I don't even get it why, because this was made after Deadly Friend. But when I watched this movie, like when they first showed her, I was like, oh, she's just a kid in this movie. Like, I thought she was going to be more like, I mean, she is Stacy, but she's so young Stacy that you can't even really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
How old is she when they made this movie?
You know, like, I read things and it was like, I guess I could just stop being a dummy and look at her birth date and figure it out. But, like, I've seen people say different things, and, like, I basically was reading that she was, like, 16. But that can't be right, because that would mean, because I believe, unless I'm, like, mistaken, like, Deadly Friend came out, like, a year or two before this. Like, she would have had to been, like, 14 on that. And, like, that can't be right.
I would assume she would be 18, and I figure that like they would go with an 18-year-old just because of the subject matter of the movie. But then I remember that fucking they took all that shit out of the movie.
Exactly.
But they're still incest babies. Fucking, yeah, it's weird that they decided to pull some punches, but not all of them.
Yeah, so I'm figuring it out now. I'm like in a laboratory doing math. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So when the movie was released,
We're calculating the exact moment it was okay to jack off to Kristy Swanson.
Yeah. When the movie was released, she would have been 18. But obviously they film a movie generally a year before, you know what I mean?
Right,
so she was probably 17. Let's see. Deadly Friend came out a year before. So she was probably 17 when she filmed this. She was probably 16 when she filmed Deadly Friend. But, like, it always confused me because, to me, she looked... I don't know if they were trying to make her more attractive or what in Deadly Friend, but she looked more grown up to me in Deadly Friend. But, like, this shot here where they're on the bus, like, she just looks like a kid to me. Like, she looks like 14.
What's that hat called? What's the style of that fucking...
I don't know. Like, I keep seeing hats like that is like the Southern Belle hats like that is our girl that we've been watching on YouTube, the one up in Canada.
Hell yes.
Yeah. I can't get enough of her videos. They're so entertaining.
Yeah, I was gonna mention, like, I wonder if they had to get that hat custom fitted to fit her fucking mongoloid fucking incest head or something.
Well, like, in order to make this episode somewhat listenable to people who aren't super familiar with the movie or the book, basically, you don't know this at this point in the movie. This all gets divulged as it goes on. But this, the parents here, the mother and father, they were actually, the dad was her uncle. In the book, it's like, he's like her half uncle, they say. So they're not like real, but I think in the movie, I think the way the grandma explains it, I think she just says uncle, which like makes it worse. So it's like they had to like basically go off on their own because they fell in love like from their rich ass family. Because everybody like was grossed out, like this is some incest, which I mean, it's not like brother and sister level incest, but it's pretty like scandalous. And keep in mind, one thing I didn't know until doing all this research, Zach, is this story, the book came out in the 70s, but it's supposed to take place in the 50s. So you have to like put your mindset that this is how this, that would have been a huge societal scandal back then, an uncle and a niece. And it was really weird. Like, they talk about how the director of this movie really wanted to put it in modern day, and like I have no idea why, because they're just in this old ass house. They wear old style clothes. The only thing you would have had to change this entire movie, Zach, to make it in the 1950s would have been that bus that they took a ride on. You know what I mean? Pretty
much, yeah. That little curly headed fuck looks just like fucking Alex Winter.
I was going to say, when they first showed him in the house, like, I don't know if his curly hair was fake or what, but when they first showed him, he looked like a Cabbage Patch doll, for real. Like, he really did. Like, here his curls are kind of like, more bushy, but they were so tight.
Yeah. He doesn't really look like Alex Winter. I had to make a curly-headed fuck joke. I love Alex Winter, though. He's a Chad.
Big time Chad. I like when they meet the butler, that curly-headed kid goes, "Nice to meet you, John."
That kid's totally gonna fucking die at some point in this movie.
Oh yeah, but
he definitely has the weakest of the incest genes.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was the mother and father were, in the movie version at least, uncle and niece. So they ran off. They have these kids. So the kids are all incest kids, and they don't realize it. And in the book, what happens is, and we should say this too, that Wes Craven was the first person to write a script of this. They didn't end up using his script.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but which would have been insane if he would have made Deadly Friend and then this back to back, both with Kristy Swanson. But
it would have been insane if the fucking incest babies could invade people's dreams and shit too. That'd have been awesome.
Like the Dream Child or what?
Yeah, fucking. This was his original script for the Dream Child. Fucking fucking they didn't let him use it, so he's like, I'm gonna use it for the dream child, and then they didn't let him use it there either.
Exactly. So the book is so hardcore that there's like some kind of weird, like I guess they're just getting on each other's nerves up in the attics. The book is so hardcore, Zach, that the first time there's incest between the brother and sister, the brother actually rapes the sister. Yeah. And Wes Craven was like, I can't do the rape shit. Like, that's too harsh. He's like, I'll keep all the incest, but we'll have to make it consensual, like they fell in love. Because, like, also, too, like, I think what probably the reason the full-blown incest probably wouldn't work is in this version, they're up in the attic for, like, it's vague, but it's more like a handful of months where they're in the book, they're up in the attic for close to, like, 3 years. So, like, in the book, it's just more like I don't really know how they get past that rape type situation, but eventually, like, they do end up, the brother and sister do end up as a romantic couple, and it's supposed to be that thing because their hormones were blossoming or whatever.
Fucking what's that called? Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome.
She ends up falling in love with the rapist, her own brother, fucking incest brother.
And then, like what I was saying before, it was I got VC Andrews pilled this week. I didn't realize there was multiple sequels to this book, and like later on, one of the sequels is actually about the sister is trying to choose, like she's still sleeping with her brother off and on, and it's like a love triangle between her brother and her husband. It's pretty fucked up. So I have
was the Amityville 2 part of the series?
I think that was like no joking, because Amityville 2 was completely like made up at the time that they made that movie Amityville 2. If you got to think about it, Zach, like at the time that was adapted, whatever, and there was like weird rumors, with the original Amityville family where the guy shot there was weird rumors they had incest with his sister. But I think they probably were figuring, like, at the time, the biggest youth book at the time they made that movie was this, Flowers in the Attic. So, like, I mean, we don't know for sure, but, like, I think it probably could have influenced their decision to, Yeah.
Do you think there's a mirror universe where the Flowers in the Attic fucking movie series spun off as many, like, sequels as Amityville? Like, fucking Flowers in the Attic Next Generation, where it's like a cursed boombox that makes you fuck your sister and shit?
I don't know about that kind of thing, but again, me being this many years old when I got VC Andrews pilled, there is a cinematic universe. When they did the remake, and I watched the remake on TV in like 2014, they had Heather Graham as the mom, and and that did kind of still have the incest in it, much more so than this version. But
Heather Graham, is she? What was she in? Like, I always get her mixed up with another.
Probably the biggest thing was Boogie Nights. She was Roller Girl in Boogie Nights, but she's like in License to Drive. Like, she started like teen acting. She literally could have been in this movie as the sister. She's the right age. Yeah, like what I didn't know though was they made all the sequels, like the book sequels. They because the remake with Heather Graham was made for Lifetime. So like that was 2014. Like over the years, I think up to about 2018, they were still making the sequels. And then just this past July, like whatever, a couple months ago, Zach, they did the prequel series about the grandmother, and it was still like on demand, and it was like a mini series, like 4 2-hour movies. And I watched most of the first one, and like it's so fucked up, Zach, because like you know how evil the grandmother is in this, and she was just as evil in the book. The miniseries about the grandmother, she's young, she's like, and like it starts out showing the attic like all dusty. She's like, "You think you know me because I was the woman who locked my grandchildren to starve to death in the attic, but there were many bad things that happened to me before you blame me, and this is my story." And like they show her, and she's like the biggest like 1920s like Stacy, like women don't have the right to vote yet, and she's fighting for women to have the right to vote, and they're like, "Oh, you're so progressive, like whatever." And they're like, "Oh, you're so amazing. Like men are intimidated by you." And she's like, "I don't care about getting married. She's like running the business with her father and like all that kind of shit. So they're like, "Oh, you're such an amazing woman." And then the guy who's like the old dead guy, the old dead grandpa in this movie, like he shows up. He's all young too, and like
he smacks that liberal horse shit out of her.
Well, no, this is what happens. Is like he's like super charming, and he's like wooing her in the old ways, and they're going on horse and carriage rides and shit. and then he gets her to marry him, and then like when he gets her to this mansion, the Foxtail or whatever the mansion is called, then he comes down like, these are the rules, you won't leave this house, you won't do all that. So it's like, I'm only one movie into like a 4-movie miniseries, but like over the series, I guess she's going to turn evil or whatever. But I thought it was such horseshit, and I thought it was unbelievable that they're still making prequels about the grandma in 2022.
Fucking they have no ideas. They don't fucking want to make any new ideas. It's all about the IP. People act like fucking. I don't. People do that thing where they're like, fucking, why even make this a fucking Little Mermaid movie? Why not just make it a new movie about a different mermaid? It's like, because all they fucking really want you, the whole money making thing is the name Little Mermaid. That's, of course they're gonna call it that.
They would, instead of making original movies, Zach, they will remake Hot to Trot, the Bobcat Goldthwait talking horse movie, and they'll call it the Little Mermaid, just so they have something to call Little Mermaid.
Exactly.
So what happened was the dad died in a car wreck, and the mom's like, they had to sell their house, they sold all their belongings, they were poor. Like, for some reason, the mom was just a dummy. Like, she couldn't get a job to take care of the kids. Like, they couldn't even make it in, like, which again, like, if you would have kept this in the
that liberal arts degree.
Yeah, liberal arts degree. But if you would have like made this in the 50s, it would have been a little more believable that a woman couldn't support her kids, or there wouldn't have been welfare enough, or whatever.
Or if you made it today.
Or if you made it today. So she goes crawling back to the grandma, who's like, okay, like, I'll accept you back and your children back, but, your children are, like, the incest children. And they didn't know it. And, like, so they locked the kids first in a bedroom, all 4 of them. There's, like, 2 beds. We should say, too, there's, like, the older brother. And they're supposed to be teenagers, but there's, like, the older brother. Then there's the sister, Kathy, played by Christy Swanson. And then there's, like, 2 little kids, a little boy and a little girl. It's like 4 kids have to share these 2 beds and like 1 bathroom. Like, they literally just lock them in the room, and they don't tell them like what's going on or anything.
It's very like 100 whatever 20 days of Sodom. Like, fucking put them all in a room and just fucking like torture them psychologically. No shit eating in this, but fucking there should have been actually.
Well, yeah, like, it clearly becomes some Lord of Flies. And then we have some weird eroticism here where, like, the mom has to go before the grandfather, her father, who's, like, bed-stricken. He's slowly dying. And, like, she has to disrobe in front of him, and then, like, the grandma whips him. And, like, apparently that was made up for the movie. But as much as the director said he was, like, cutting the incest out of this version, like, I feel like he still was putting on these weird little hints in here, don't you think?
Yeah, fucking... They should have shown him jacking off to this. Or getting spanked.
Well, I think he could, but he just was too weak. Like, they should have showed the nurse doing it for him.
Exactly. Like, do you even think he could get a boner at this point? Like, is it just like a fucking, like, oh no, I just want to see her fucking demeaned. Like, he's just a fucking sadist.
I think if he would have had the right doctor, like, I think in the old days before they had Viagra shit, I think there was like some weird shit where you could like do a shot, like a needle, put a needle shot into your dick to like make the blood flow or something.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Modern technology.
But yeah, it's like, as a viewer, like, we're like, this movie's a very fast-moving movie. It's only 91 minutes, and we're about the 20-minute mark here. And it's like, already, it's like, it's very sadistic already. Like this seems like really bad, like how the kids are locked in a room, and then the mom comes and shows them in a second here that she's all whipped up. And she tells him, like, the plan is basically, like, I gotta win back my father's love before he dies, and he'll put me...
Does she ever believe this is the plan? Or is she, like, yeah, fucking... It seems like she's being manipulated from the beginning, right? Fucking, but then she becomes just as bad towards the end. I remember both times.
She was actually okay. This reminded me of some Matilda shit though, where the grandma picks the little girl up by her hair, and then the little boy bites her ankle. Like, and she kicks him. I love that where she slaps him when he hits the ground. It's so fucked up. But yeah, that's the thing is, I think as a viewer, Zach, we're getting manipulated and thinking the mom is like still good, and she's really just trying to get back in the family's good graces so she can inherit some money. But I think this was like the plan from the get-go, like from the fucking get-go, because it's pretty early on we see the white shit being sprayed on the cookies. The literally, did you see that Urban Dictionary post about the powder form?
I didn't.
Yeah, check your Facebook Messenger when you get a chance. You'll see it. But yeah, like that white stuff's getting sprinkled pretty early, and it's like it pretty much seems like the mom was sprinkling that shit all the way through.
Fucking this heinous, fucking scandalous fucking woman doing this shit to her children. I would do the same thing probably, especially if they were incest babies.
But I mean, she knew though. The mom knew, like, when she married her uncle. Like, she can't really act outraged that her kids are incest babies. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the best part, though, where the grandmother says, "I'll give you," because she explains to them that they're incest babies just to be mean to them. And she said, "Do you remember that line?" She said, "Zach," she says, "Like I'll house you, I'll feed you, but I'll never show you kindness or love." Like, she tells them that shit straight to their fucking face.
She did. I read the reputation. Why are other people coming up with the fucking funny things for the thing I said?
I know.
Fucking very. You just gotta learn to roll the punches, baby.
I know.
We found out about fucking she got the hit with the fucking what was that called? The Indiana Jones shit.
A bullwhip.
Fucking hell yeah. And that looked gnarly when they showed her back.
And there's a groundskeeper character who barely factors into this version of the film. He was basically set up to take place more in the original ending that they filmed and they scrapped. But like, can you imagine if Wes Craven made this movie? He could have had Robert Englund as the groundskeeper, just like lurking around.
Fucking, that would have been amazing. That would have been fucking amazing. Why didn't we get that version? Wes Craven would have fucking he could have went all Abe Snake and fucking got all exploited. I think he was just putting on a front. Like, as soon as he got behind the camera, that Abe Snake persona would have kicked in. He would have put on a top hat and started fucking dancing around the set. Oh my god, that would have been so cool.
Well, imagine like if his filmography, instead of the way it really went with Nightmare on Elm Street, Deadly Friend, and Serpent in the Rainbow, if instead of Serpent in the Rainbow he would have came and did this movie, and he would have totally would have combined the cast of Nightmare on Elm Street and Deadly Friend. So like you could have had like, instead of like this guy, it could have been Christy Swanson and the guy from Deadly Friend, and then the drunk mom could have played the evil grandma from Nightmare on Elm Street. And then,
so good.
I know, and then you could have had Heather Langenkamp as like the incest mom. Like, it would have been a fucking banging ass 80s cast.
It would have been. Do you remember how fucking Angela the Fireworks Woman ends? Abe Snake's magnum opus, fucking his porno movie. Do you remember how that movie ends? It's amazing.
Isn't she naked on the beach and then like everybody gangbangs her or something?
Fucking, it's something like that. But basically, story-wise, did it end with them like fucking the two people finding out that like they were related, and then like fucking basically come to the conclusion that fucking God is just it's just a thing we tell each other to stop us from fucking our siblings, and then it basically just shows Abe Snake like fucking do a twirl, and then he like smokes a joint and looks at the camera, and then it just ends.
Is that the one where he's wearing the top hat or whatever?
Yeah. It's like, what was he telling us? What was our boy Wes telling us? His
porno, and again, like, I mean, they don't do nudity, but like they totally show her in her bra here, which is weird considering she was underage. You would have think they would have found like a girl that just turned 18, so that way you can because I know the actor guy who plays the brother, he said like they could barely film the scenes with the little kids because like the laws was they could only film for a couple days. But like, what was the deal with a 16-year-old like Christy? Could you still make her film 15-hour days or whatever? Like, that's pretty fucked up.
I don't know. Fucking, you know what? When I think of Christy Swanson, you know what the first image I think of fucking comes to my mind is the fucking the little scene she had in Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, yeah. Wasn't her name Christy Boner in that?
It was.
Yeah.
That was P. Christy Swanson. I'm saying it. She got fucking she was the best looking in her fucking 30s or whatever it was.
I mean, obviously it's hard to judge here because she's like a kid. I mean, obviously she's beautiful or whatever, but like, you know, she's a kid. Like, but oh, here it is with the white powder getting sprinkled on the cookies, but we don't see who it is. Like, it almost would make sense if it was the butler doing it, but it's not him. He's just taking him to the room.
I choose to believe it's that bald fuck from that Victor Salva movie, Powder. He just fucking it's basically his own white skin flaking off. It's like he's rubbing his dandruff over the food.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
That's disgusting.
I was trying to think when was peak Christy Swanson, and like for me personally, when I was like I think I probably got like a crush on her, when I saw her in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but then a couple years after that movie The Chase with Charlie Sheen, oh my god, like they intentionally filmed her like so beautiful with the lighting and everything, but like yeah, I think she still looks amazing now in her 50s, to be honest with you. But
hell yeah,
I know a lot of people don't like her because she talks about politics, and I don't really think about that when I enjoy Christy Swanson films. I'm not thinking about political opponents and policies and foreign aid and whatever. You know what I
mean? Exactly. Fucking big Stacey.
You see this fucker's hairy ass arms, this little boy? Like, I forgot to tell you, he's like a Manchi Chi puppet. Like, I just noticed he's so furry. He has more fur on his arms than he does on his fucking head.
He does. Okay, I bet that kid already has like fucking massive chest hair already.
I thought it was funny too how like they're all like grabbing handfuls of this food to go up into the attic with it instead of just grabbing the plate that the food was already on. Because you can't eat all that at once. You can't eat all that at once. Like, you're gonna have to lay it down on some dusty ass table or something up there.
They're dumb incest babies. They didn't even think of that. That is a part of they don't have that part of the IQ. Yeah. You got bred out.
But at this point, got bred out. At this point in the thing, like the movie, like, you know, this is fucked up, but like you don't like, I don't know, like it just still hasn't reached its worst point, obviously. So it's like they're discovering the attic, and like the mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you a secret. When I was a little girl, I used to play up there," and she's like, "You should go up there and make it your wonderland." But when you go up here, man, this is like more dilapidated than fucking Freddy Krueger's house. Like, how do you have like a full staff of maids and groundskeeper and shit, and have literally like 18-foot cobwebs hanging from the ceiling in your own house?
Exactly. What do you think the mom's doing all this time? Do you think she's like fucking just hanging out, like, or do you think she actually is like getting whipped in front of the dad? Maybe she really just gets off on that too. Maybe that's not just fucking for show. That's like, I was gonna do that anyway.
I have to say, I think the whipping is to throw you off. Like, they kind of just wrote it in to make you think the mom is doing whatever. But like, it's supposed to be like, the whole point was in the story in the book is that she's getting boned out by all these rich guys looking for a new husband to take care of her. Which does end up happening too, but they kind of just throw you off the stank. Because like, if she was really like whatever, being like a good mom even in the beginning, because like they write it in the movie that like the mom starts coming less and less, and they're like, "Mom, where are you? We haven't seen you." But like, even from the beginning, the mom isn't even coming like every day. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't you? You have nothing else to do.
Exactly. Fucking, I would be coming all the time. I was thinking too, like, how, like, so in the prequel, she's like fucking like all feminist and shit. Yeah. Fucking, she went woke, but then she meets this guy.
She's super woke.
She meets this guy, and he turns her into a conservative who's like fucking like the Bible and shit, and then like fucking. So I always wondered, like, does the Bible say incest is wrong? But fucking, aren't we all like fucking supposed to be incest babies from the Adam and Eve thing?
I mean, if we really started from two people, we technically are all incest babies. Like even if you have like a Chinese man having a baby with an African woman, it's still incest if you believe the Bible.
Exactly. Fucking incest, you guys. Yeah. That's sexy shit. I think we should just wear it. If the shoe fits, shut the fuck up and walk it off. It's Brooklyn.
Didn't Kiss make an album in like the early 80s called Incestuous or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's the one where they were walking around after they took off the makeup. They were walking around with they had like leopard print pants, but they were all like pink and shit. It was all whack.
What if we all just like we decide like we're gonna embrace incest? Like no fucking future kid is gonna be not incest. Fucking.
I think it's too late though, because like, what do we have? Like 9 billion people on this planet now. Like, even if somebody directly started like fucking their own sister like today, it's like the genes are already still so varied that they wouldn't come out. Like in the old days when the gene pool was smaller, like yeah, like if you had sex with a sibling and had a baby, they would have two heads. But now it probably really wouldn't, because their gene pool, we mix so many races and DNA. Like there probably some kids born birth defects, but I bet like probably 80% of kids would still be born normal.
We should try to fucking breed fucking intergalactic looking fucking people and just like
Yeah,
keep it going. Just like see how far we can push fucking I remember hearing that it's like some weird thing too where it like skips generations.
yeah,
So like you can have like fucking crazy incest baby with 18 skulls or something, and then like it can fuck its sister and end up with just a normal baby. That's crazy. Like we need the Twilight Zone episode where we thought the whole time that it was just a normal person, but it was like fucking they were the incest babies the whole time, and fucking the baby they give birth to was normal. Fucking that would have been the twist.
Maybe that's why they wanted Wes Craven to do this movie, because he had already done Hills Have Eyes, where they were fucking their mothers and sisters, and like everybody when they say incest, they say like fucking your sister. Like, what if you go reverse? What if what if your mom's young enough she can still have babies? What if you give a baby with your mom?
That would be fucking crazy.
Like,
I
what
want
would
to see
that
that
turn?
movie. I want to see that.
I mean, they pretty much got it playing like every night, all day of the week on Pornhub. But
Exactly.
I want to see a drama, like a Oscar caliber drama directed by Wes Craven.
I want to see what goes on after those commies get fucking put in mommy. You know what I mean?
Which, by the way, is that like you notice this scene? The little girl's making paper flowers.
Exactly.
Like they do not emphasize this at all, like at all in the movie. But those are the fucking flowers in the attic.
I just put that together.
Yeah, it's so weird. And like
I thought it was playing on the whole fucking rose. The fucking thing, like, fucking, is this like? Are they talk about the vagina? They talking about the vagina? Like, I thought they were going there with.
Is that like an old timey thing you would call vagina or rose or something?
Fucking, I don't know. I might be mixing it up with fucking an episode of King of the Hill.
Oh, okay.
Fucking, that's how she learned about the birds and the bees. Fucking, she read a book about flowers or something. Fucking.
So at this point, like, pretty much the younger kids are like, "Where the fuck is mom? Like, what's going on? This is so bullshit." And then, like, the older brother, he's still sticking up for the mom. He's like a mama's boy.
Chad.
And it was funny, too, because the actor here, I mean, he looks very similar now. I mean, obviously, he's got shorter hair. He don't have this floppy kid hair. He's grown up now. But,
look at that ass shot.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where, like, the beginnings of the incest happens, like, where he comes in and he's seeing his sister in the tub.
They wanted to foreshadow by showing a close-up of his ass in those Wranglers. Fucking tight shot of the ass. And then he steps forward and reveals a naked Christy Swanson, who was only 16 when they filmed this, so it's fucking weird.
But that doesn't really happen. He just scrubs her back for like a minute.
They imply incest is going to happen, or we get ready, or everything's all fucking hell yeah, and then it doesn't fucking happen. They ridded us of that fucking great part of the book. It's literature. Why would you take that out?
Well, what happened too, because there was a little more to it. They said that they tried to do like a PG level of incest, and they did actually film a couple scenes where
they want you to have to take your parents to see the fucking movie about incest. Like,
well, no, this is what happened. Like they filmed a couple of kisses, but it was like very like tame or whatever, just kisses, and they left it in the movie when they did the test screening. like the people hated it, like they were grossed out by it, so they're like, oh, we got to cut it out of the movie anyway, it's so
You're
gross.
Supposed to be.
But the
You're
thing that's
the
thing that's weird about a test audience, test audience is just like random fuckers who come off the street and you give them a little card to fill out at the end, like, did you like the movie or whatever. Like, I've done it a bunch of times, but but the people who would actually be going to see the movie would be the people who read the book. And that's what happened. So when the movie came out, I love this movie. I think this movie is like a great creepy horror movie. But the people who were fans of the book hated the movie because they're like, how could you leave out like the most important part of the book? And I'm like I'm kind of like, whatever. Like, I think this movie, there's enough meat on the bone. You can adapt it into a cool horror movie. Like, you definitely can't do all the sequels and shit that are based around continued incest, obviously. But like, I don't think the director really did a bad move or whatever. But yeah, that's what happened. The studio was like, "Oh, this is so," because the studio was very squeamish about it anyway. They like we were saying with the properties, they wanted to make flowers in the attic.
Movie studios are so fucking stupid.
Yeah, they are.
They pay money to make a movie.
We pay money to make an incest book, but they don't.
And then they don't want to put it in there. Amazing.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, it's just. And also, too, like the actor was saying at the time they shot the movie, he was like 24 and she was like 16 or 17. So, like, there really wasn't any chemistry between them anyway. So, like, you know. So, yeah, this is where the grandma punished her. This is a cool slow motion shot, too, though. Where
Look at this.
She knocks over the ballerina statue and breaks it as a punishment because she walked in and saw the two older kids sleeping in a bed together. And then, like, it was totally innocent. It was actually just because the little kids fell asleep in the other bed together. So, like, they're like, whatever, we'll just go to sleep. But the grandma, like, she's already like, fuck this shit. There's incest going on.
See, this is actually fucking, it's actually alluding to the Bible itself. Just like, like, she put them in there, fucking incest babies, knowing they're going through puberty, knowing they're gonna basically fucking eventually start fucking like exploring this fucking weird shit, fucking, and then acts surprised when they're laying in bed together, and then fucking just breaks that fucking thing that her dad gave her, and she goes no in slow motion. I don't see how the fuck she didn't just pick that up and stab her in the fucking neck with the shard of glass. The whole movie would have ended. They could have left after that.
Well, if it was me, I think after about 3 days in that room,
so she's stupid.
I don't know if it's that they're stupid as much as that, you know, they believe, because here's the thing is, like, what the mom was telling them, like, oh, we're gonna be rich. It's like, it's that thing, like, if you were like you know, I'm assuming the boy's supposed to be about 16. If you were a 16-year-old boy, and they're like, oh, you just gotta wait like a couple months in this dirty ass attic, and then we'll be millionaires. Like, wouldn't you? Like, I would do that shit now. I would go live in somebody's attic for like a year straight, like drinking my own piss to survive if I thought I was going to get millions of dollars afterwards.
Exactly. It wouldn't be that hard.
No.
Exactly.
So this is their first escape attempt, and it's basically the attic. There's a window, but it has bars on it, but they're pretty spaced out, so they only have to saw through one of the bars to kind of bend it open to fit through. And pretty much the plan is, like, the older kids, Christy Swanson and her brother, are going to, like, go down this rope and then run to get help, to, like, tell somebody or whatever that, like, hey, we're trapped up in this attic. We need somebody to come help us.
This is like the scene from Halloween 4 where they're on the attic. That's
exactly what I thought of. And it was filmed kind of the same way because, like all the scenes with the actual, like, mansion were filmed. I think it was around Boston, they said, but this was actually, they went to, I think it was Echo Park in LA, and all they built was this just like this little piece that you see here, and like they climbed down. They were only like maybe like 10 feet off the ground in real life or whatever, but it works. It looks really good. They have a lot of smoke and fog and shit.
Why didn't they have sex on top of the house?
Well, we don't know when the incest was supposed to happen in the original cut because they cut it out. They could have like just did it right before he tried to climb down. They could have just finished doing it.
Exactly. That's what gives him the strength.
Yeah. Well, that's what gives him the motivation to come back if he does escape.
Her pussy, that incest pussy, it's like fucking spinach. She's like Popeye.
But instead, he's trying to climb down, and then these attack dogs come, and Yeah, which the attack dogs were not in the book. It is another invention of the movie, but it works. It makes it more nightmarish.
Do you think the attack dogs were incest dogs?
I, you, I know you meant that as a joke, but here's the thing, Zach. Yeah,
I think dogs are.
I think they are. If you want a purebred dog, which these are what are they called? Are these Dobermans or what are they?
Yeah. Something like that.
Like in order to get them purebred, yeah. I actually had an incest dog.
Oh yes.
We got a dog that was purebred Shetland sheepdog, and had the papers. It was from this mother and this father, but like they're all inbred to some degree in order to keep them purebred. And she ended up having a tumor problem. We had to have multiple surgeries, have tumors removed from her back, and eventually she died from a tumor. Eventually grew on her leg when she was older. I mean, she made it to like 12 or something like that, but still, I technically did have an incest dog.
Is it fucking making them incest dogs make them more prone to shit like that? But it's just like we're gonna do it anyway because we just want the pure blood, bro.
Because like I want to say she got her first tumor like real young, like around 2 or something, and we had to take her to a vet. Be like, oh, does she have cancer? And like the vet's like, well, no, she's purebred, so it's like the bloodline is inbred, so it like literally she had the birth defects.
Fuck.
I know.
Why we do that? Why we do that?
I don't know. But it's just people want to they want to have fancy dogs. If you want to have a real healthy dog, you gotta get like 2 different breeds and make a mutt.
Drop the fucking purity test with your fucking your incest bullshit. That's really all it is. All these fucking these purity tests. It's just really you want to fuck your sister.
That's basically all it is. Are you talking about like the DNA test or like what? What is it?
Fucking just all these people. They just want to fucking single people out. They just want to fuck their sister. Really, that's all it is.
Yeah, you actually met some people like that one time.
Exactly. People that want to fuck us.
I feel like you told that story so many times though. I feel like I don't even want, even though this would be the only episode we would ever bring that up and tell that story. I feel like you've repeated it so many times on various shows that I don't want to make you.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna make your show the exclusive where I reveal his name. I drop his docs. I drop
you give his current address.
No, basically, growing up, I had a childhood friend who was just a fucking he was out there, man. He did a lot of weird shit. I don't know if he did it in the name of comedy. I kind of hope he did because he's a comedic fucking genius. Like he jacked off a dog in front of me.
Oh my god.
He one time we went to the video store. He went into the bathroom, laid on the ground with his pants around his ankles, and just jacked off up at the ceiling. Fucking didn't leave the door. He left the door unlocked.
Oh my god!
And the high school girl that was fucking working that day, just accidentally walked in on. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just walked out. He comes out. He's all fucking covered in sweat. He's like,
"Where was he at doing this again?"
I was Family Video.
Family Video. He like just did it in the aisleway where the movies were or whatever.
He was in the bathroom.
Oh,
he told
in the bathroom.
Me, he's like, "We gotta get out of here." I left the door unlocked. She walked in and saw me. We gotta get out of here. And fucking amazing. But anyway, he basically, I was hanging out with him. I want to say we just went like mushroom hunting or something. It's something you do in the Midwest. Yeah. They're not magic mushrooms or anything.
Fucking, yeah, just something to do, some stupid thing to go look for.
Exactly. Fucking, and then we were sitting in the back of his dad's pickup truck, and fucking. Long story short, he had sex with his sister in front of me.
Like out of nowhere, it just happened.
It just happened. It just fucking. And at one point, it was like one of those things like fucking. You wanna join in too? I was like, no. My mind was blown.
I'm assuming you're like really young when this happened. Could you imagine that being stuck in your head for the rest of your life of how you lost your virginity? It was an incest 3-way. Oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah, I never had anybody like there's this kid I was friends with. I knew him from school, and I was in like school with him for years, like probably like 3 years, and I mean he seemed like normal or whatever, And then like eventually like we started like hanging out, and like he lived a little ways away from me, but like my mom would drive me over to his house, or he would like, I think he would just walk like the 3 miles of my house sometimes. But anyway, like when I started hanging out with him like one-on-one outside of school, like he started doing weird shit, and it was just like just weird shit to like make people uncomfortable. Like he would basically like just out of nowhere pull down his pants and like just kind of like shake his dick or do whatever. And I remember doing it like because he had like 3 older sisters. Like we were probably like 10, 11, and he had like 3 older sisters, and they're all like about 2 years above us. And like the youngest one that was like 2 years older than us, like I kind of had a crush on her, and she was real nice to me. And I remember being over at his house, and I was like, his sister was like, "Oh, this is cool," you know. I get, like he was there too, obviously, but like we get to hang out with his sister a little bit. And then he just like he stood up on the couch and pulled down his pants and like I don't even know how to, like almost like strumming a guitar with his hand. He strummed his dick in front of his sister, and she was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "Put your pants up," and like she walked out, and I was like so pissed. And then like I was just
he
like
cock blocked you with his literal dick.
He did, and like I remember like I said that might have been the same time I stayed over over his house. I spent the night like one time, and I remember like it was kind of like upstairs. It was almost like a Ragman situation from Trick or Treat. Like they actually did have like a bedroom up in the attic or whatever, and like we were sleeping up there. And I don't even think it was really like anybody's bedroom. It was just like a TV room or whatever. We were sleeping up there. And I guess his dad was like real traumatized from being in the Vietnam War. I mean, you got to understand this was probably only about 15 years after Vietnam ended. And his dad came home drunk. And like I don't know if like the mom locked him out or if he was so drunk he couldn't like get in the house, but he was like pounding on like the front door for like hours, like probably like an hour and a half. And I remember like me and him and like one of his sisters was in the room, and we were like shh, shh. Like, be quiet. And he just, like, it was, like, the scariest thing. I never stayed over his house ever again.
Fucking, what? The crazy shit. We need to make a movie about our fucking childhood exploits. Mine's going to have more incest than yours is.
Yeah, I don't have really much incest to tell about, but.
Exactly. Brother shaking brother dick in sister's face. That's as close as you got.
I know.
I took a walk on the wild side. I didn't partake, thankfully.
Well, you're younger than me, so it's like I feel like each generation gets more depraved and more perverted. So that's probably why you were exposed more.
You know what's really fucked up too is as a kid, I remember after it happened, I was kind of bummed out that I didn't say yes. Oh. Because it was that weird fucking anxiety about what if I don't have sex before other people, before my friends do?
What if I die a virgin? Yeah.
I'm so fucking glad I said no to that. Jesus Christ.
And I gotta say, like, most early sexual experiences, like, not just, like, the first time, but usually, like, the second, the third time, like, it's always awkward no matter what the situation is. I could imagine that would be, like, the most terrible awkward. So this is the closest we come to incest in this thing. Like, she was Christy was taking a bath, and the brother was just talking to her through the door, but he was kind of getting an extra look there. Did you see that?
He was. And
he was so distracted by what he was seeing that the grandma came in the room up behind him, snuck up behind him, and she's like, "Oh, you filthy pervert, look at your sister." And then finally he's just like, "Yeah, well, so what? We're locked in this tiny room. We're going to see each other naked. Shut the fuck up, you dummy." And like he basically shouts like he stands up for himself for the first time because he's pissed, and he shouts the grandma out of the room, but that backfires big time, doesn't it?
Fucking stupid incest idiot could have just fucking choked her out right there and ran out the door. But he's an incest kid again, so he didn't even think about that. Fucking, basically there's going to be retaliation.
Yeah.
Retaliation.
Pretty much she just stops bringing food for like, it seems like it's weeks, but like later in the dialogue they say it was like a week. And like in that week, all 4 kids just like wither away and they become like pale vampires and they start getting skinny.
Exactly. They start sucking each other's blood.
They do. I was going to bring that up to you when it came out. I thought that was a very, very odd thing.
Why did he do that? Why did he feed him his blood?
Well, he claims to be like the brother. He's like, I want to be a doctor. So he's just reading these medical books. And for some reason, like, I guess he thought that was the only way to get nutrition to the kid or whatever. But it's really weird. I've never heard. If anything, you think it would make you sick? You're swallowing somebody else's blood. Because I mean, because I used to get nosebleeds all the time as a kid, and they would last forever, and it'd be hard to stop them. If like just a little bit of blood went down my throat, it would make me nauseous. You know, you may just sit there suckling on your brother's fucking wrist, trying to get some.
Exactly. Fucking. What if
it probably would have been healthier if he just would have drank his piss.
Exactly. Fucking. Yeah, there's a part of me that wants to read the book just to see how fucking weird it is.
Yeah, I would like. I want to see all those. I don't even know if I can get it through this 8-hour prequel of the grandma. It's kind of bullshit, but I do want to see all those made for Lifetime sequels and shit. I want to see how weird this fucking story ends up getting.
Exactly. We do need the fucking Next Generation spin-offs though. Where like haunted shit in the attic here fucking rubs off on you, makes you want to fuck your siblings. I would actually watch every single one of those. Yeah.
Like, you know how they, like, a lot of people go, oh, the Amityville franchise. Like, they don't understand, like, a lot of the, like, you can just put the name Amityville on anything. It's not trademark, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do, like, the Amityville Horror Part 8, but you can do the Amityville stuff. Like, that's why all those fake sequels are, like, Amity 6, It's About Time, or what the fuck they're called. Like, you could do, like, either Flower or something, or you could do Something in the Attic. You could just do Incest in the Attic.
Fucking in the attic.
So like they were looking for the younger brother. He went to sleep upstairs for some reason. He wanted to sleep next to his pet rat is actually what it was. But the grandma sneaks into the room and locks all the kids in the attic, and she like pretty much does some like BDSM with Christy Swanson here, slaps her and then holds her down with the giant scissors and cuts her hair off real bad. Pretty much makes her.
As we all know, they did that just because they didn't want us literally thinking that this incest brother and sister movie had a totally hot fucking sister that like they didn't want us to say the whole fucking like I don't blame them shit. Like we had to sympathize. Like they didn't want that. They didn't want the sympathy. We want they want us to fucking think this guy is not only fucking disgusting for fucking a sister, but fucking a sister with a stupid ass haircut.
Well, they probably was a theater owners requested that this be written in it because they didn't want to be, they were trying to like tone down the sexiness of the movie. Because like imagine if Christy Swanson had her long flowing beautiful golden hair the whole movie, like how many like times a day they would have to go into the theaters with mops and buckets to get it all up off the floor.
Exactly. I didn't even think of that. That's a perfect idea. You were right.
I mean, it's bad enough you got to get all those jujubes and spilled sodas and popcorns off the sticky floor. Like, those floors would have become so sticky, people would have, like, permanently been getting stuck in there, and they would have to, like, leave their shoes behind stuck to the floor.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it weird how she's supposed to have less hair, but for some reason it looks like fucking... Yeah. I don't... Like they just stuffed all of her hair underneath a wig or something. Really weird.
Well, because that's what they did, but...
Yeah. But, for some reason, it seems like you can tell. For some reason. I don't know if you actually can or if it's just because I know that. It's really weird.
Think it's, like, not that bad, really, but it is noticeable. But also, too, like, the brother comes and trims it up, and, like, once he trims it up, it ends up looking a little bit better after that.
Oh, yeah.
So here they show the grandmother and then the mom and the grandfather having dinner. He doesn't really seem like he's like that dying at this point in the movie.
Exactly. In the book, he actually wasn't in a wheelchair. He was just fucking sliming like a slug on his big fucking on his cane trail because he's just fucking caming perpetually, fucking getting his daughter and niece. Whipped in front of him. That's just all he's doing all day is just fucking caming.
He's like that big slug in the David Lynch version of Dune that just floats around in a tank of his own liquid.
Exactly.
I know you still haven't seen it, Zach, but like when you go see like the Denis Villeneuve 2021 version of Dune, they're like, oh, this is the emperor of the universe. He's whatever. when you see the David Lynch version, instead of some guy, it's a giant slug floating in a giant tank of cane, cloudy white cane, that they wheel around, and they take him around the universe, and he like talks to people. It's awesome.
Fucking hell yeah.
Yeah. So this is the part where like they're not eating. You think it's just because they're not eating, but like they're turning all pale and shit like vampires. But the little boy is getting the sickest. He's like the youngest and the smallest, I guess. Like he's getting the sickest, and they think it's just because he hasn't eaten or something. But yeah, that's where the brother heats up the razor blade and slices up. It's like it starts getting some real Nosferatu shit here.
This is very Martin.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is just such a weird thing. I wonder. It almost makes you think the director watched Martin and just thought that's a cool movie.
Yeah.
Let's just put a scene in the movie where he decides he's gonna cut his wrist. The fact that he heats up the razor blade first.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's
sterilize it. Yeah. Well, you know what was weird was when he's doing this because he's putting the belt around his arm to get the blood flowing. I thought he was like gonna like get a plastic tube out like a straw. I thought he was gonna give the kid a blood transfusion. I didn't think the kid was really gonna just drink his blood from his arm like that.
How would you even? I get he's a stupid incest kid, but like fucking, I don't. It seems like it'd be kind of hard to convince a kid to suck your blood. Like kids are usually scared of that shit.
Well, the kid does it like no problem. He just starts suckling like it's a milk teat.
You didn't even question.
I'm gonna look this part up. Drinking blood. See if it's in the book because this is too weird.
Maybe the person that wrote the script was also an incest baby.
Okay, this is a article from the website Vulture about the remake. It says no rape, no penis measuring. I guess there was penis measuring in the book. Behind the 5 big ways Lifetime Flowers and Addicts deviated from the book.
Do you think he measured his little brother's dick in the book? Like,
I don't even want to guess.
Why does he measure penis measure? Have you ever measured your penis?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they're judging the remake, not this movie, but the remake from the book, and they're saying in the book he did drink the blood. The kid did drink the blood.
Fucking stupid kid.
And it's saying also in the book he's constantly measuring his penis and he has to explain it to his sister.
Well, he has to like fucking no, it fucking like it gets like 2 inches bigger if fucking when I'm having it. Like fucking yeah, like you gotta pull on it a little bit. Like fucking don't say it's small. Don't say it's like the same size as my little brother's. Like fucking I can't imagine like why is he measuring his dick multiple times? Like I get measuring it once. Like do you just keep forgetting? What's the point?
Well, it's the director of the remake says we had to even it out a little bit. When you try to dramatize someone measuring their penis and someone walking in on it, it could wind up being a little bit silly.
He's just like fucking my dick is like 7 inches fucking hard, man. It's 7 fucking inches. That makes me came every time I see my dick next to the 7 mark. I gotta do it multiple times. I gotta see the 7 right next to my dick right as I come. Or something. I don't know. Yeah.
It is weird. But like now we're at the part of the story where he figured out just how to like he can't unlock the door of the room they're in, but he figured out how to take the door off the hinges so they could escape. So like this is a big part of the book. They do it a couple times in this movie, but in the book they do it like quite often, and it's like supposedly in the book the way the rape happens according to this article I was just looking at. Is the sister sees the mom's boyfriend sleeping in the house, and like she kisses him, and then the brother gets jealous and rapes her. So that's how the rape happened in the book. But again, like that's never made it into any of the film versions of this or the remake. I mean, you know, I don't want to call out VC. I don't want to call out VC Andrews considering the lady sold over 40 million books, but her dramatic logic is pretty strange.
Is she basically just that generation's like fucking who's that chick that wrote Twilight?
Stephanie Meyer. I wouldn't say Stephanie Meyer. I would say she's the E.L. James, the one who wrote the 50 Shades of Grey. Because that,
which is like a step below that, isn't it?
oh, it's like 8 steps below it. Like I went to the theater to see the first 50 Shades of Grey movie. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen that. Huh?
Okay, it's about this rich guy, right? He finds like a you know, like a nice looking but like, you know, regular conservative girl working in a hardware store. And like he basically pays her to come, and he gives her a contract saying that like he can anally rape her anytime that he wants to. And like she has to like there's actually like scenes of her doing paperwork saying she can get anally raped. And it's like,
is it rape if you consent? I don't get it.
I guess not really, but that's like the game they play, because like he ties her up and whips her and does all this shit. But then it's like the thing of like this is the kind of weird shit he needed to do with every other girl just to get a boner and get off. But he actually loves her, so then he's actually able to start having regular sex with her.
Oh, heartwarming.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the other 2 movies they made. I never saw them, but maybe I should.
Exactly. They're probably great films.
I probably should order the 4K box set.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's no way There's no way that shit can't be good. Criterion, have they put it out yet?
No, I think you just have to go through the regular studio. I don't think they're quite old enough for Criterion to go like look backwards and do their serious film retrospective of it.
He looks like fucking Vincent Price there.
He does. So we should say like, and this was one of my favorite scenes of the movie, like making this feel like not just a horror movie, but really like, you know, like a kid's horror movie or a teen's horror movie. Is they escape from the room and like they're looking around the house. I think they're really just looking for food more than anything, but like they find the grandfather and they see him, and like he wakes up and like it seems like he wakes
up and violently fucks both of them.
He doesn't have the. He tries to, but he doesn't have the strength. He just kind of grabs Christy Swanson and starts screaming. I think he has like dementia or something, so he don't even know he actually technically doesn't even know they exist, because that was the thing, is the grandmother never told him that, you know, they had grandchildren, because it was an abomination that they were all incest babies and stuff. So like to him, he don't even know who the fuck that is who's like hovering over his bed in the middle of the night.
Fucking he doesn't even know they exist. He might have like wanted to have sex with them if he knew, because he's like fucking he gets off on this shit.
But I don't know, like the way they present it is like he's the guy with like the serious like moral values or whatever. So I don't think he would want to have. Okay, see this closet that like for some reason, you don't know why, the butler steps out of a closet. It's actually it's like a linen closet, because it has that door that has like the vents in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be an elevator, and that's pretty much the end that they cut out. Was they escape from the room, and the evil groundskeeper shows up, and he fights the older brother, and then like the elevator was out of commission. So it's just like an empty elevator shaft, and the brother throws the groundskeeper guy down the elevator shaft, and like he breaks his neck or whatever the fuck happens. So that's why like for no reason they just had the fucking butler walk out of a closet.
They were like, we can't have the incest baby brother kill we need the audience to be on his side. We can't have him kill the butler.
Yeah.
We need to sympathize.
Also too. Well, he killed the groundskeeper, and in the original ending, it's actually the butler who finally lets them free, because the grandma starts running at them with a knife, and the butler stops the grandma and says, "Let them go," and the kids like run out of the house. So,
Jesus, how is this movie already almost over?
I know we've barely talked 40 minutes about incest, and it's almost already over. That's what I'm saying. It's a quick movie.
There's so much incest jokes I'm fucking forgetting that I wanted to say, and they're not coming to mind now. Like, if Christy Swanson was your sister, like, be honest, you're fucking her, right?
I mean, I don't have a sister, so like, I don't know how you like gauge how hard that. Like, I know everybody goes, well, of course not. She's my sister, so like, I can't really relate to what a sister is, but like. Definitely if she was like a cousin or something, of course.
At least a second cousin.
Yeah. I mean, I think even first doesn't really matter.
Probably.
I mean, I mean, they were like more my distant cousins. I don't really even know how you quantify it. They're like my third, fourth, fifth, whatever cousins, because like there was really no blood relation. But like yeah, like I would have crushes on like my older cousins, you know.
Fucking, we all did. We all did, and we knew it was wrong. We knew it was wrong.
I don't think we knew it as wrong. It was like in my case because they were older. I just think
we knew everybody said it was wrong.
You just knew it wasn't going to happen, really.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it even more fun.
Like no matter how much you dreamed, Zach, like no matter how many coins you threw into wishing wells or how many birthdays you blew the candles out, it was never going to happen.
It's like that meme where it's basically people take that Fallout 3 thing where it fucking, like, whenever you're trying to attack an enemy, sometimes it'll have a little thing that'll show a percentage and it'll say like your chance to hit, and it'll say you have no chance to hit. Like people like if people will post that you have no chance to hit.
You have no chance to hit.
As if like fucking like you see a pretty girl, it's just like you see that meme, it's just like, yep, true, probably.
What I want to know is like the weird thing of like those people that find out that their like sisters or whoever are like porn stars or whatever, and like they accidentally come across their shit. Like what happens to those people? Like, do you look out of curiosity, or do you just like, because I mean, once you even glance at it, like that shit's not leaving your mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And do you like secretly hope that they do incest fetish porn so that you can?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, if they're just doing any porn, that's pretty much what all porn is now. Porn is all either incest porn or like fake cuck porn. Like,
why has that become like the biggest
I don't know. Like, I mean, I get why it's a thing. Obviously, like there's a million fucking things. See the little girl cut the paper flower down. That was a flower in the attic. But yeah, like I don't get why like that's all the industry is. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Fucking that is weird. What does it say about us that we're just like fucking? Oh yeah, I want to watch that.
Well, like every time, I mean, I'm sure there's other things you can look up, but the most common one, it's always the mom, the stepmom, whatever videos, and like I think that shit more than anything. I think even more than a sexual thing. I think it's just everybody wants to like go back to like being a little kid again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because especially those ones where it's all the hurt me big mommy ones, where like it's like the tall women who pick them up and body slam them and have sex with them and all that shit. It's like.
My cousin sent me a video of this big chick. She picks this guy up like he's a fucking doll and just like, amazing. It's like, I want to be handled like that.
But like you see that and you're like, what a missed opportunity that every week of the She-Hulk show isn't just that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Fucking girl, that's girl boss, I say.
Oh, big time. That's controlling your own destiny, having agency right there.
If fucking being woke means that we all get to fucking like have a girl boss chick that'll fucking pick us up like
7 foot tall.
Exactly, and just fucking suck, just like suck our wiener while we lay there in the air. Did I send you that picture?
I think so. That's
amazing. She's basically picking him up, and he's just like fucking laying there. I can't even explain it. It defies logic. It's one of the greatest things, though.
But you know what? Like that's not even like the giant whatever like lady or whatever, like the tall lady. Like that's really not even that weird for me and you, because like we're both pretty tall. I mean,
exactly.
I'm 6 foot. You're what 6'3", something like that.
I'm 7 feet tall. Actually,
so you're 7 feet. How are you not playing in the NBA?
Fucking they keep asking me. I'm just like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna do communism instead.
Communism. So yeah, the scene there was the mom finally showed up after like not like showing up for a long time, and I kind of like, and she showed up and she had attitude, and she's like, oh, like she's all happy. She's like, I won back the love of my father. He's put me in the will, blah blah. And the kids are like, this is bullshit. We're dying up here. Like she was starving us to death, and you know the little boy Corey almost died or whatever. He's all sick.
Is it really? Do you think that's a satisfying kind of revelation when you find that out about the mom, or do you think that's just like, I kind of wish it would have went a little. There's something about me that is just like fucking. She seems to like she's super sinister, but like fucking in a way, like something about it just seems so off to me. I don't know. I can't
I
explain
think
it.
it's just the way the movie presents it, because it tries to save it as a big shocking surprise that she's the one. Which I get. I mean, we should like the whole crux of this. There's only 20 minutes left. The whole point is they whenever they give them any type of food for dessert, they give them these sugar cookies. Well, the sugar like is actually arsenic. It has arsenic in it, and just tiny amounts. They mix it in with the whatever powdered sugar, so it's slowly killing them. But they don't realize it because it's just little by little.
Why are they slowly killing him? Why keep him? Or is it just like you're thinking about it too much? This is written by Stephanie Meyer.
VC Andrews.
Exactly, VCR.
I think it's just the reason it's little by little is because if you put like a ton of it on there and like you just gave them bowls full of it, they would taste it. So you have to slowly.
They're not gonna eat anything else. They're fucking they're incest babies. They probably won't question anything.
I think you're playing like way too much blame on the children who had like no, like they didn't until
they're stupid
until they got locked in this mansion. They didn't even know that he was an incest baby.
This is what they deserved. I'm on team mom.
No, not me. You gotta have sympathy because like the mom had a choice. The kids never did.
Exactly. But this isn't even based on a true story, right? We're just.
No, yeah, it's a fictional story. Yeah.
Exactly. So we can make fun while we want. Fuck them.
Oh, yeah, you can do whatever you want. But
I'm glad this curly head little shit dies here.
Oh, I'm not. It's very sad.
Exactly. He does. He fucking reminds me of a little kid, fucking Bill from Bill and Ted.
He does.
This is just a couple years before we see him show up in Bill and Ted 2, where he's at the birthday party with the grandma and shit.
Because they told the mom he was sick, and she just blew it off. And like he's finally at the point where he's like pretty much dying. Like I mean, you don't know he's dying; you just think he's real sick. So they're like, he has to go to the hospital. He's like, and like they should know better because it's like the mom comes in and sees him. They're like, okay, we'll get a car and we'll take him to the whatever. We'll take him to the doctor and we'll pull him around the front and take him to the doctor. But it's just like if your brother's sick and they're just going to keep you locked in this room. And, like, they're just making him disappear and telling you, oh, yeah, he's getting better. He's going to the doctor. Like, you should fucking know by then. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I love this fucking punch.
Yeah. Like,
slap.
Christy Swanson is mad at her saying, like, he's your son. You just ignore him. He's sick here and everything. And like, you could, like, I think the mom kind of showed her hand there when she just slapped Christy Swanson. Like, the mom's, like, not taking any more shit from these kids anymore. Like, the mom, like, even though we don't know it exactly because they kind of save it for a reveal that the mom was the one actually physically doing the poisoning. Obviously, the grandma's, like, in on it or whatever. But yeah, like the mom is just, mom's pretty much at this point, like, just, I need you fuckers to die so I can move on with my life.
Exactly. It's her fault. She's fucking poisoning them slow. Fucking idiot. Yeah. She's an incest baby too.
Which, like, the original ending when, like, the butler helped the kids escape or, like, whatever, like, I didn't buy that either because, like, this butler, he's so cold. Like, he can obviously tell this kid is dying and he don't give a shit.
Exactly. Because he sucks.
Yeah. I feel like we got a little bit, like, waylaid here with all this incest talk, but, like, this generally was, like, a creepy movie to me when I was watching it the other day.
Yeah, I don't know. I did I don't think I saw this until probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I was really shocked that there was no incest. I was really shocked by that. I was like, "Fucking, they did. They took it out. They took out the fucking the craziest part about."
I was too story. Because it was always known as the incest movie.
Yeah.
And then I watched the remake, which did have the incest in it, although it didn't have the rape in it. It still had the incest in it. So, like, and then when I went back to the OG version here, like, I was, like, I made it all the way through the movie. I was like, what? There's no incest? But it didn't ruin it for, like, if anything, I think it makes the movie actually work better dramatically because you can actually take it a little more serious than if they were incesting it up the whole time. But also, too, it's like, if you're doing an adaptation, again, like, I don't know how believable the incest is, even in the long version of the story, like the book where they're up in the attic for 3 years or whatever. But I really don't buy that within 6 months you're going to be fucking your own sister, honestly. The way this movie had it. So, yeah, the mom comes in and says the little boy had pneumonia. The doctors did all they could. And I'm just like... Because they showed the groundskeeper guy burying the grave for him. And they just show one grave at first. And now it's going to, like, cut back here in a second. Yeah, like, this is great filmmaking. Like, you see him digging one grave, and the camera pans over. This motherfucker dug 4 graves. So, like, he's in on it, and it's like, well, okay, I could see burying the kid if he just died of natural causes. But when you're fucking burying, or I should say digging up 4 graves for 4 kids, like...
Are you sure he didn't just cut up the little kid into 4 pieces because he's just a piece of shit?
Yeah, I don't think the kid was a deadite. I don't think he needed to chop him up.
Well, not just a fucking piece of shit of a kid. Like, fucking, he doesn't deserve to be intact.
I don't think that was the intent that was going on. But here, the pet rat, they realized he died because they were feeding him the cookies that had the sugar on it. Like, when they had cheese or whatever they could give him, they gave him that. But they finally ran out of food. They had to give him the cookie with the powder on it. Mm-hmm. And that's when the big brain on Brett over here figures out that, they've been poisoning us the whole time. We just didn't realize it.
Exactly. Why not just eat the rat at this point? Like, fucking, you're hungry, it's dead, fucking, go for it.
Well, the thing that's fucked up, though, is, I mean, they're not hurting for food. They're giving them food again because they want to keep giving them the cookies that kill them. But if somehow they would have known or figured out, like, they could, like, all the other food was fine. They could have just been eating and being healthy this whole time. Their brother would be alive if they just would have known that the cookies weren't poisoned. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or they were poisoned, I should say.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's going through the medical book now and realizing the symptoms because they don't really, like, overly go through it and everything, but, like, with the kid, they just, like, talk about the stomach pains and they've all been sick. And, like, they don't really, like, I guess because they're not as sick as the kid was, but, yeah, like, they've all had the stomach pains and shit. They just thought it was all stress or getting sick, being in the attic altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And he even says, like, they wouldn't have found the poison in the autopsy or whatever.
I love the makeup on them. They're sick makeup. Are they supposed to be like, what is that, like, fucking anemic or something? Like,
yeah.
That's what it looks
like.
I
think they're pale because they kind of, like, they were very vampiric when they were starving, and then they got food again, and they start looking start looking kind of normal again. But now I think they're kind of pale again because they're probably just not eating any of the food that they're given. I mean, they don't show that, but that's what I kind of deduced from it.
Mm-hmm. They're all weak and shit. Like, the little brother just died. This is, like, the perfect time to just fucking have sex. Like, let's do some incest now. Fucking, this is the perfect time to bring the incest into the story.
Well, I guarantee you that's probably what happened in the book. They probably just were like, "Oh, this is too stressful. I need a blowjob or whatever."
Exactly. I just need the cane.
But it's pretty nasty though, because, like, I mean, obviously, this being a movie, they have, like, older actors, but, like, I think the characters are supposed to be even younger in the book. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's kind of hard to take a book seriously, or a story seriously that has that kind of thing going on.
Very just fucking paperback, fucking trite. That's probably what people thought about it. I don't know. Like, fucking, was it kind of known by kids as being, like, fucking this, like,
sleazy?
Oh man,
oh yeah. That was the reputation it had. But I think the parents didn't really catch on because it was always called, like, a young, what do they call those, young adult teen novels, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, young adult or whatever.
Yeah, but it was funny though. The writer V.C. Andrews, like, it literally is like, I needed to listen to the commentary track, and they point out there's, like, a maid that you see inside the house wiping a window. That was her. That was her big acting break. Like, she wanted to, but like, they had to, like, prop her up because she was in a wheelchair. I forget exactly what happened to her, but she had an illness when she was young. Pretty much kept her in a wheelchair. And by the time they made this movie version, she had been suffering many years of breast cancer. So she actually passed away. She got to film her little cameo, obviously, but she passed away before they finished the movie. Yeah, here's the big reveal. You see, it's because he kept doing these, like, insert shots of the white powder coming on the cookies, but like you didn't realize it. Like now they do like the big, like they actually pull the camera back from that same shot, and they realize it's been the mom who's been poisoning the cookies the whole time.
It wasn't that fucking Victor Salva motherfucker after all. Oh man.
It was the mom. Yeah, it was the mom. It wasn't the butler. It was the mom. It wasn't even the grandma. Like, because like I feel like, don't you think, like, even when they figure out the poison, like, don't you think kind of like you're thinking in your mind that it was the grandma poisoning them?
Yeah, like she just seems like the total piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, the mom's a piece of shit. Everybody's a piece of shit. The kids are pieces of shit. Fucking, I want everybody to die here.
Yeah, and then he beats the grandma up with the table leg.
He could have done that so much longer ago.
Yeah, his brother would be alive if he just would have.
It's all his fault.
Raised up. But I like the way the movie plays out. Like, now they're fighting for their lives. It's very primal. It's very Lord of the Flies-esque.
Imagine if he, after the brother died, he picked up the brother and swung the brother's body to kill the grandma.
Like he held onto his feet and swung him where his, like, the little baby skull was smashing them in the face and shit.
Exactly. That would be a fucked up ending. We gotta make that movie.
Oh, you never know. We could, especially with these streaming services, you could readapt, because Lifetime sucked the bone dry. It's time to restart the franchise. Go back to the beginning.
Fucking for Lifetime to fund your movies, just fucking make every man a piece of shit in the movie.
And again, this is where like the time is hazy, because like they don't really let you know like how long it was when they saw the grandfather, like that time they were sneaking around the house. But now they go into his room and they realize that he's already died. Which again, this is where the original ending they shot. Like in the book, he does die. And it's the same as like kind of the movie, like they didn't realize it. But in the original ending of the movie, Zach, the grandfather was still alive at this point. And he was at the wedding, and he was the one who like told the mom, like, leave them alone, let them go. Like, why'd you do this to your? So like in the original, like in the original version of the movie, they were trying to actually make the grandfather like a good character, which I thought was very bizarre, because obviously that's not the way the book goes. In the book, he just dies, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, fucking, you started cutting out there. I think the fucking the Illuminati's trying to stop her.
No, I was just saying, like, when you watch the deleted scene or the alternate ending,
I got what you said, babe.
It was just like that thing.
That could have just been they could have ended it that way too. Like he could have fucking, once he found out he had the kids. Yeah,
once the grandkids, he could have been like, what the fuck? And like, it would be awesome if like the grandpa would like put everybody in jail, because everybody was in on it. The groundskeeper, the butler, like they all knew what's going on. If he really woke up and like, if he was like the good guy that they were all swindling, maybe they were poisoning him. You never fucking know, you know.
Did they shoot that ending, or was it like changed before?
They did shoot it, because on the Blu-ray you can watch it, and it's just like a real crappy VHS copy. But he's like in a wheelchair, and like the mom's like, oh, you're, because like it's really weird, because like it's like they reshot the ending, but they like reshot half of it exactly the same and then changed the other half. So like when the kids come in to ruin the mom's wedding, I guess we should say for people not listening along or not familiar with the movie, is like basically the movie ends is the mom's getting married to just this random guy. This is what she's been doing the whole time, is getting this handsome guy with a big mullet. So the kids show up, and like, you know, they're like the dirty kids, all skeletal looking and malnourished, coming out to ruin the big fancy rich people wedding.
I kind of have a new appreciation for like that's really funny that's what she was doing the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
Like she's that big of a piece of shit. She'd be doing this and then go up and like, oh guys, I miss you so much. I'm doing everything I can. Like, what the? That's some savage shit.
It was funny too, because like they did that short scene earlier where like the guy who's marrying her was like trying to have sex with her the night before, and she's like, no, you have to wait till tomorrow. And blah, blah. I was like, was she doing that just to hide all the scars on her back from when she got whipped, or what? It was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in the original version, basically like this same thing happened. Like the kids walk out, and so like they had killed in the original version, they had killed the groundskeeper guy and threw him down the elevator shaft, and then they come down here. And then the mom starts going crazy, and she's like, "Oh, you're ruining my wedding." And then like the grandpa, he was like in the wheelchair, and he grabs the mom, the mom, and he's like, "Leave him alone, like it's whatever." And he's like shocked because like, he didn't even know these kids existed, but they play it like he's a good guy. And then basically they try to leave, and then the grandma comes running at them with a knife. Because in the original version, they didn't like beat up the grandma with that table leg like they did in this. And then basically the butler grabs the grandma and like he throws her into like the elevator shaft, and like they're on the ground floor, so she doesn't get hurt, but he just locks her in, so she's like banging to get out. And then the kids walk out. Like they use the same shot at the end, but like the test audience or whatever said it was shitty, so they did this ending. Which, like, I like this ending better because the other one was, like, really weird and, like, slasher movie-esque. Like, it didn't really fit the rest of the slow movie. But this gets real ridiculous here, like, when the mom dies in this version. Like, it doesn't even really make sense how she dies.
Fucking, well, as she's falling, Christy Swanson, she comes up, she's like, fucking, yeah, fuck you, mom. And, like, she falls over the balcony. As she's falling, we don't see it, but she quickly ties the rope around her neck.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense. So, like, basically, Christy Swanson says, like, we're your kids, and you locked us in, and you murdered your son, you're poisoning us. And, like, they're having, like, this slap fight. Christy Swanson and the mom are having this weird, goofy slap fight where she's trying to get the mom to eat the cookie. And the mom, like, falls over the railing, and it's, like, a little garden, probably, like, 10, 12 feet below. But the mom's, like, wedding dress, like, gets caught, like, on the trellis, and it hangs her. But I'm like, well, what part of your wedding dress is wrapped around your throat like that? Like, they don't even really show her neck or how she got, like...
You know what that was? That was typical Hollywood, like, pussy, like, shit. Yeah. Like, fuck, we want them to get revenge, but we don't want them to kill. Like, we want people to sympathize. It's like, I can sympathize with them. They got tortured because of the mom. Like let them fucking get
exactly. That would have been... They said that's why they put, like, this shot here at the end of them walking out was always the same. And, yeah, like, it made no sense. Like, they said, like, oh, we wanted the mom to die. And the point is, in the books, the mom lives. And I guess we should say that ending that they reshot, they shot it without the director. They basically fired him, and they brought in a new guy to direct that one scene. But the whole point, I guess, of the sequel of the books is that the mom is, like, well, she's still alive in the books, but, like, pretty much from that point on as grown-ups, then the kids try to get revenge on the mom. So that's what the sequels were about, from what I understand. And like the director was saying, if you kill the mom off, but the studio was saying, well, we got to kill the mom because the audience has to go home happy. Like, you can't let the bad person win, kind of thing. And but the director was saying, well, like, don't you want to do a sequel? Like, it makes no fucking sense, And then, like, they did, like, Christy Swanson says they did send her a script for the sequel, like, 2 years later, but then they just never ended up making it, so it just didn't matter. But they said in the sequel they were going to go, like, at least the script she got, she said they were going to go with the incest and everything. So there was still money to be made with the incest, they felt like.
Exactly. Incest is huge these days. I think fucking studios should be jumping on the incest movies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised they're not, actually.
I'm actually surprised.
Like, some algorithm hasn't let them, like, clued them into that fact that shit's really huge.
Well, you know how, like, they used to, like, make, like, all the Porkies and all that shit, and it was just, like, an excuse to show boobies? Like, there's got to be some, like, movie director or producer somewhere that, like, just looks at, like, Pornhub and he's like, damn, like, there's all these stepmom videos. We got to make a stepmom movie,
Basically, we're just going to remake American Pie, all from the point of view of Stifler.
Exactly.
Or the kid that has sex with Stifler's mom, whatever.
But getting back to the movie, I'm with you. Like, if you're going to kill the mom, which is not the way the book goes, you're going to do it just to make the movie more pleasing to the audience, whatever. Go full force. Like, have, like, the wedding cake there and the knife next to the wedding cake, and, like, they pick up the knife and they, like, the kids all take turns stabbing her or something. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
But I thought it was a good ending. I mean, it is kind of weird that, like, the mom, falls and gets hung in that weird accident. But I do like the final shot of the kids walking away from the mansion, and then the voiceover comes back, which is not Christy Swanson. It's like a grown woman, like she's doing the voiceover telling the past. Mm-hmm. But she says, like, we escaped and we took care of each other, and the little girl, she said, you know, she survived, but she was never really healthy from that point on, and like, so like they kind of play it as like they did get sick and like their internal organs and shit, I'm sure, got permanently fucked up from eating all that arsenic for all those months.
I want to see like a sequel where they survive, they all start a cult and just become fucking incest cult and fucking we need to see that shit. That'd be good.
You know what's weird is like I know you're saying that as a joke in a way, but in a weird way, like don't you think? Because like by the way, like even though this book was like it's the biggest 40 million sell, like the movie really didn't make that much money. I think it barely made any profit. But you're probably right in a weird way, like in a commercial way, like just the interest and the controversy would probably get more people interested in that.
There's something fucking really fun about watching fucked up shit. Like as soon as we got the internet, it really is like Clerks 2, where it's like fucking. Why would you not want to fucking watch like a donkey show? Like why would you not want to watch crazy shit? That's like what that exists. Fucking click. Like we wanna watch fucking brothers and sisters having sex. That's so funny.
I mean, do we want to watch it? I mean, you keep saying over and over we do, and like, I mean, I don't know, like, I think they should just go ahead and make the movie and then let the people decide.
Exactly. Well, they go. Well, you know they will.
Yeah.
Like the people that are gonna get really mad about it are gonna go watch it just to fucking bitch about it. That's just how we work now.
Exactly. The at least the Pornhub people have spoken so far. All the videos they keep uploading. So.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But you know how I always say like we're always bad about realizing the anniversaries. We're always doing movies on their 25th, 30th anniversary. We don't realize it. Like talk about like a weird thing, Zach. This is this was totally by accident. This is the third movie in a row that we've covered on the movie Graveyard. That's from 1987. So all these movies are having their 35th anniversary.
That is fucking crazy. What are the odds?
3 movies. I'm like, should we just continue it and the rest of the year find more 1987 movies? I don't know. It's weird.
I think this is a sign from God that me and you should start an incest cult.
But I mean, how would that? How would the 35th anniversary of movies, like, how could we capitalize that? Because I mean, in order to get a cult, we got to get people following us. You know what I
mean? Exactly. We'll come up with that. We'll come up with it. All the good shit comes in time, baby. First, It starts with the idea first.
Yeah. And catches on like wildfire. So yeah, so I mean, if you watch the movie by itself and not with our commentary, I think it actually is a pretty chilling, horror movie. And like it actually kind of affected me more than like a lot of like the actual bloody horror movies I watched, just because to me, I think what's scary about this movie is just the whole concept of a woman, in order to move on with her life, or, a widowed woman to move on with her life, is willing to, poison her children one by one and let them die off like roaches.
For this to fuck with you, it would really help if you watch it as a kid. Yeah. That's whenever the idea of your parents, like fucking like doing something to hurt you would really
not being trustworthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like for me, the movie that did that was fucking Troll 2.
Really?
I watched Troll 2 when I was a kid. I was so young that fucking just that concept. I didn't notice any of the bad acting. Just like the idea of your parents fucking you over like that really fucked with me. Like your parents are like fucking dishonest and they're out to get you. That really fucked with me. What
was the story of Troll 2? That the kids or the parents were like in a cult and like they were letting the trolls come or whatever?
Yeah. Fuck. Basically, it mostly came from that scene where he's like dreaming and he wakes up and they're fucking, oh, I'm gonna be sick, and they're just like fucking, fuck. They don't seem to care, and then they just turn into the trolls, and it's like fucking that fucked with me. I was just like, shit. It's just some people wearing Walmart masks. It's amazing. Yeah,
because that one was really though. But you know what's weird? It's hard to believe. And I don't even think Troll 2 was actually an official sequel to Troll, but like I'm actually old enough. Like I remember Troll when it came out, and it was a big deal. It was in Fangoria beforehand. I remember taking the Fangoria to school and show my friends, and they were excited about Troll and everything. And like my dad took me to see Troll. I'm waiting months to see the first Troll movie and everything.
Sonny fucking Bono, bro.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen it in a long, long time, but it's such a weird, like almost unintentionally campy movie. But at the same time, it still has like actual budget to it, like with the creature effects, with like the little suit that the troll wears or whatever.
You remember what the main character's name? Not the little girl, but her brother. You remember what his name was?
No.
Harry Potter.
Are you serious?
Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure it was before the original.
Oh,
Harry
it's
Potter
way
book
before,
came.
dude.
Yeah.
Way before. Because I was like a grown up when the first Harry Potter book came out, and I was like a young kid when Troll came out in the theaters.
Exactly.
Wait,
she ripped it off from one great. What was his name? Fucking John Carl Buechler.
Yeah, Beagler. And I remember that was a big deal too in the Fangoria. I mean, Fangoria was pretty much the only magazine I read as a kid. You gotta understand. Yeah, you're right. Harry Potter Jr., Harry Potter Sr. Michael Moriarty played Harry. Wouldn't it have been a donk if they would have got the actor who played Harry Potter and Troll to do like a cameo in the Harry Potter movies?
That would have just fucking made the entire world worth it.
I know.
Like, if that would have happened, like, you don't realize, like, fucking, it would have ended. Like, we couldn't go anywhere after that. It's technically a good thing it didn't happen.
Could you imagine if people could fuck with their kids and show them this and say, "Oh, this is the original Harry Potter movie"?
People can do that.
Yeah, like they made it in the 80s, like because the little troll guy, he almost looks like those troll banker people that they had in the real Harry Potter movie.
We can't do that. We could just say fucking what's her name? Fucking J.K. Rowling. She doesn't exist. This is Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is the real Harry Potter.
It was written by John Carl Buechler.
Well, that'd be fucked up if like you only let your kids watch Troll, and then like you took them to like Universal Studios to see like the Harry Potter shit, and like you're just like, what's all this shit? Like I don't remember this in the movie.
Exactly. You just have to tell them that the fucking all the other kids are fucking they got a fake version, the bullshit version. You got the real version.
You got the real version. What a life I have lived, Zach, that I saw not only Troll but Ghoulies, the first Ghoulies in a movie theater. Can you imagine people fucking put their shoes on and drove to the theater and said, like, I especially Ghoulies, I remember very vividly. It was one of the few times my dad took me to the theater on a weekend when it was crowded, and we're seeing Ghoulies on a Friday or Saturday night, and it was just like packed with teenagers. There was probably, like, I'm not shitting you, there was probably a good 150 people there to see fucking Ghoulies.
Really?
Yeah, like and like when you watch Ghoulies, it's like the cheapest fucking movie. Like, how did this even get in a movie theater? Yeah.
Were people fucking pissed off when they were watching the theater?
No, it was all teenage kids. It was like it was kind of a rowdy crowd, to be honest with you.
It's fucking it's mind bending how fucking much better Ghoulies 2 is than the original.
Yeah.
People talk about Godfather 2 and like all these other fucking 2s. Like Ghoulies 2, like they set the bar so low with the first Ghoulies. Like there's no way Ghoulies 2 wouldn't be better.
The only thing and again because of that poster, I was sitting there. I don't know how old. I have to look up what year Ghoulies came out, but I mean, I was under 10 years old. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I was sitting in that theater with my dad the whole time, and you're just waiting for that fucker to come out of the toilet, like, because that was on the poster. You know what I'm talking about? And it was in the trailer too, and like that's just. Like, could you imagine? I don't know how long Ghoulies is. Probably like a 93-minute movie or something. You may just sit there for 90 minutes waiting for the guy to come out of the toilet. A hand puppet, no less. A hand puppet come out of the toilet.
Shit demon.
Yeah, like I'm sure I probably sound grumpy on this this podcast all the time, talking about how great old movies were and how new movies suck. But that's the thing, is kids today will never get taken by their parents to a movie theater to see a hand puppet coming out of the toilet.
Nowadays they do that shit with CGI. Yeah. It looked terrible.
Yeah, it would. It'd probably even be a CGI toilet too.
Probably.
Yeah, I just remember like the most memorable thing from going to see Ghoulies was it was such a rowdy teenage crowd. And it was like the kind of theater, I don't know if you ever had theaters, this is obviously way before stadium seating, Zach, where like like when you walked in, like the aisleway you walked down was actually in the middle, and then there was 2 rows of seats, so like to the left and right of you, and like they would go right up against the wall. I remember there was a guy, the entire movie was not sitting in a seat. He was like, I think he had like his knees kind of propped up on the seat, and he had his back up against like the side of the wall. So he was kind of like half standing, half sitting for the entire duration of Ghoulies. And I was like, that looks so uncomfortable. Like, how is he doing that the whole time? It was weird.
King.
Yeah. I wonder where that guy is now.
Fucking probably listening to this episode talking about, I knew somebody
He's that guy
that.
knew. If you were the guy with your knees propped up on the seat, leaning up against the wall at Covedale Cinema in 1985 or whenever the fuck Ghoulies came out. Ghoulies had to come out as a Gremlins ripoff, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I think Gremlins came out like 84 and Ghoulies came out like 85. Let me check real quick.
Hollywood loves
Ghoulies
to do that
85,
shit.
Yeah.
Fucking one thing comes out of some sock puppets, it makes a lot of money. Let's make more sock puppet movies.
Yeah, more. And you know the way we'll make the money like bigger, make a better profit is in the rip-off one we'll spend like 1/10 of the budget that we did that they did for Gremlins on the actual Gremlins.
And all we gotta do is reference the other movie on the poster or something. We'll just say fucking, oh, it's like this movie meets this movie, and people will just fucking associate it. They'll be like, fucking, I'm going to see it. It's genius, really.
It is.
Very good.
So yeah, this movie was a little bit on the short side, so we had to give you some bonus talk at the end.
I'm surprised by how fucking short that movie was.
It is really short. I mean, technically, it's what, 91 minutes. I mean, that is feature length. I mean, it's not.
It was the original cut was 3 hours long. They removed all the incest. So, like, it was so much fucking.
Imagine if you got a whole extra 90 minutes of just that.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Like, fucking, the thing is, too, is it's like, fucking, I do wish I saw it as a kid. It would have fucked with me so much more than, like, fucking waiting for, like, this thing you've always heard about. And it's like, fucking, oh, it didn't even have the thing I always heard about. That's really weird. But, yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, it's a fucking interesting story. Fucking crazy-ass evil mom and shit. Fucking evil dad / fucking uncle. Like, this is some fucking, it's crazy shit. Fuck. Somebody should remake the movie and take the approach of, like, remember, have you ever watched Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, I have seen it long time ago.
Fuck, I actually love that movie. Fucking James Gunn, trauma movie, Lloyd Kaufman produced. Fucking at the end of the movie, it's revealed that Romeo and Juliet are brother and sister. And by that point, they're already in love, so they're just like, fuck it. And then it cuts to, like, 5 years later, and it shows them, like, having, like, babies, and it's like, fuck, they've got, like, 2 kids that, like, both have, like, fucking crazy faces sticking out of the side of their faces. And it's like, fucking, they need to remake this movie and just make it, like, fucking very dramatic. But everybody, all the characters in the movie have, like, fucking 8 fingers and shit, like, just weird.
Just cross-pollinate it with Romeo and Juliet. I was gonna say the one thing I forgot to mention was Christopher Young, the composer, did the music for Flowers in the Attic. And the same year, he also did the score for Hellraiser, and, like, I think that was another thing that made this movie seem creepy and haunting to me was his music. It's very, like, he based it on the kind of the sound from the music box, that little, like, ting ting ting, like, that's always creepy music to play. Like when I rewatched Child's Play recently for the first time in a while, like, at the end credits, like, the music was like ting ting ting. Like, whenever you do that, like, little music box, little piano type music is in these horror movies is always very haunting for some reason.
Especially when they add, like, the children singing.
Yeah, the children choir. Like, I know Child's Play was like oh no no. I always had that kids choir. Yeah, it's creepy.
Amityville Horror, fucking creepy shit.
Yeah, that one. You know, I know I said this before on the podcast, but I do not understand why so many people shit on that Amityville Horror. Like, that it sucks. Like, Even when I watch it now as an adult, like I've seen it several times since I got the Blu-ray, and like it works for me. Like it creeped me out a lot as a kid. Obviously, I first saw it on TV when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. But even now, like it just, I don't know, like kind of like Flowers in the Attic. Like sometimes when you don't go as like over the top with the horror, like it makes it seem more real in a weird way. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the first Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
I like the second one as
Mm.
well. I always thought the second movie needs a re-edit. Like they need to
Yeah.
re-edit fucking and tell it out of order. Like fucking where it's cutting through. Basically, it needs to fucking be paced so that like he kills his family towards the end of the movie, and then like fucking he goes and has the final like fucking the way it happens where you get to the middle of the movie and he fucking does all that shit and then like it becomes a
Yeah.
courtroom drama. It's
Yeah.
like fuck. They needed to make like make some of the courtroom scenes happen like earlier and fucking like flash forward
Kind of
and
jump
back.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, I know
And
what you mean.
I guess like the first one, I guess I could just say like the pacing on it's a little slow, but like if
Yeah.
you're in the right mood, if fucking it works
Yeah.
good. I think.
You know, like I know what you mean. Like, I mean, because I mean, duh, it is an older movie, so it has that older movie slower pace. But even with that working for it, it's still like there's so many scenes in that house. Like it always creeps me out in the first Amityville Horror, like how dirty the walls are of the house, and like they're just like living in it, like it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like it's just I don't know. Like you see so much of the house in the first one, and it just gives that creepy atmosphere or whatever. But yeah, so that's it. So I want to thank our viewers or our listeners, I should say. They're not viewing shit. I mean, they're probably viewing this movie,
Exactly.
looking for the incest that isn't there because we hyped it up so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to thank you for listening to us talk about Flowers in the Attic, and I want to thank you, Zach, because this is my pick. So you had to go out on a limb, and I know it was disappointing because you thought you was in for all this hot heavy action, but
Fucking, I wanted incest. You fucking told me this was an incest movie, and then you don't even have incest. See,
I don't know.
I've been working on my fucking letterbox movies to watch with your family. Fucking
Okay.
basically movies with incest in it, and fucking one of the first movies you think of, Flowers in the Attic. That's one of the first things you think of to put in there, and you technically can't.
Yeah. Well,
I get,
what you could do is you could do a nice double feature of Flowers in the Attic and then Taboo, and then like when Flowers in the Attic is over, that's when you send all the kids in the house to bed, and then the adults they watch Taboo.
fucking, I still need to watch that.
Yeah. You never know, that could be a nice Christmas Day follow up to last year's Orgasmo episode.
Hell yes, hell yeah. Fucking, they need to re-put that out on DVD or Blu-ray so that I can buy it and give it to the whole family for Christmas.
Taboo, did it go out of print?
Fucking, they just need to reprint it,
Yeah.
so make it more highly available so I can get it at Walmart and get
Okay.
fucking copies to give to the whole family.
Yeah.
I remember whenever fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night was reprinted and it became easy to buy that, I fucking got it for the whole family because I used to fucking every time fucking Christmas would come around, people come over, I'd always put in either Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 or 2, and fucking. And I had to fucking give a gift to everybody. The gift that keeps on giving.
I'm really weird with the Silent Night Deadly Nights is I don't really like to.
I don't either. It's terrible.
And I genuinely like all the other ones, especially the one that's about the guy who makes the toys. I like that one. I want that one on Blu-ray so bad, like you don't even know.
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
It's really bizarre, man. And the thing is like the mom in it is a total Stacy, like total.
Isn't Mickey Rourke's or Mickey Rooney's character's name Joe Petto?
It is because it's like a horror for people who don't know. A spoiler on what is it? Silent Deadly Night 5, the toy maker is the name of it.
Toy maker. Yeah.
It's literally a horror movie version of Pinocchio.
Joe Petto.
Yeah, Joe Petto.
You think people who are fans of Joe Petto from the Pinocchio series call themselves Joe Petto files?
Probably. I did read in an article that he's going to have to stop it now that he starred in the new Disney remake of Pinocchio. But for years, when he would check into hotels, Tom Hanks as an alias would check in as Joe Petto.
Fucking Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Joe Petto.
Tom Hanks should play Joe Petto in the remake since he already did the legitimate Pinocchio version. He should do the horror movie version one.
Do you think him being in Pinocchio as Geppetto confirmed the Pizzagate conspiracy to a lot of people?
Pretty much. Did you hear what Tom Hanks said in that interview this week?
I didn't.
He said he's made like they were saying like, oh, you've made 82 feature films, and he said yeah, and about 4 of them were pretty good.
Genius.
Do you think the 4 that were pretty good were the last 4 he's made in the last 2 years for Apple TV Plus? You think those are the ones he was talking about?
Fucking, we could probably all guess which one is he's talking about. Big.
Yeah, Big, Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be Philadelphia because he got nominated for Academy Award for that. I can't remember if he won or not.
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can, yeah.
That's probably all of them right there.
Yeah, I don't think he was talking about Larry Crown, but I don't think he was talking about the one where he slept in the airport for 2 years or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, the one where you fucking made friends with a beach ball.
Yeah, the best one was Bachelor Party though. You ever see Bachelor Party, babe?
Long time ago.
Yeah, the whole plot revolves them around trying to sneak a donkey into a swanky upscale hotel so they can do a donkey show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yes. That's the best plot for a movie right there.
Yeah.
They did it how long before Clerks 2?
Oh, like 26 years before, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can't get any better than that.
Was his character just as fucking like based as fucking Randall? Like fucking why would you want the internet unless you're gonna use it to look at fucking donkeys getting blowing nuts in chicks' faces?
Yeah. Speaking of which, it's unverified. I don't know whether to believe whether it's real or not, but I technically do have a signed DVD of Bachelor Party from Tom Hanks.
Amazing. Hell yeah.
I got it off eBay years ago for very cheap.
For some reason, unless that like by the time that movie came out on DVD, I feel like Tom Hanks would have already been in that stage of his career where it's like if somebody brought that to him and asked him to sign it, he would have fucking smacked it out of their hand. Because
remember how all the early DVDs came with the insert that was either a chapter listing or a mini poster? It's that's what's signed. Somebody had him sign it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time. Like, I didn't care because I paid like $10 for it. It was almost like the real or fake Tom Hanks signature devalued it because I think the DVD was probably like about $20 to buy. And I bought this copy that was signed by him for like 10 something.
Fucking some douchebag wrote it in crayon.
Yeah.
In this fucking. I remember one time that friend I told you about that fucked his sister in the back of a pickup truck. Fucking jacked off the dog. Fucking he told me for no reason one time. He's like, yeah, my mom, she went somewhere. She ran into like the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the maker, fucking Trey Parker. He directed fucking Orgasmo, which we did on the show. He's like, fucking she got their autographs. So I was like, fucking that's cool, dude. You should bring them sometime and show me. So like over the next like week or two, he'd like show up without it, and I'd be like, fucking you forgot to bring that again. And he's just like, oh yeah. He always acted like fucking like, oh yeah, like you forgetting about it. Like finally he brings it to me, and it's just like he wrote it in crayon.
He wrote it in crayon.
He did. He showed it to me, and I was like, you did this. I was like, why'd you lie to him?
He didn't even use a red marker like how my Tom Hanks.
I thought of that like not that long ago, and I was like, it was totally one of those things where he just said it to like fucking have an interesting story, and he just hoped I didn't remember anything about it the next day.
He hoped you were dumb like an incest baby, and it'd be in one ear and out the other.
Exactly. And then like I kept remembering it, and he's like at some point I don't think I would ever went through with that. That's awesome though that he did. Like fucking I would have just like okay.
What did he bring the crayon signatures on, like a piece of paper or something?
It was just a piece of paper written in crayon. Fucking 2 different colors for both names. It's like clearly your own handwriting. Was
he treating it like it was precious, or did he just like offer to give it to you or something like that?
It's like he was so defeated. He showed it to me, and I was like, "You didn't. This isn't fucking. Why'd you lie to me? Why? What was the point of that? He just like, he just, just like just kind
Bizarre.
of didn't give me an answer really. Just like just took it back, put it in his pocket, moved on.
Well, I don't think we can top that. So
That top's fucking his sister in front of me. Like
that probably is because at least this took some premeditation. You could argue.
exactly. He was a weird dude.
Yeah. Do you have any clue like whatsoever whatever happened to him?
Fuck it, I haven't seen him in so long. If I did, I probably wouldn't even recognize him.
Yeah, you gotta look up his name on Facebook, see if he's like married with kids or if he's like totally in an insane asylum or what.
Fucking one can only imagine. One can only imagine. What if he? What if he fucking he got a job like that chick from Clerks? She manually masturbates caged animals for artificial insemination.
You mean you
Insemination.
mean what if he ended up getting his dream job?
Exactly. He would have done it for free.
He's like you don't have to pay me for this shit. This I
Exactly.
do for fun. Horrible.
Amazing.
All right, so that's it for Flowers in the Attic. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you're a Flowers in the Attic fan, just like we are. I want to watch the whole remake franchise in the next couple months. But yeah, Zach, thank you for doing it, man.
No problem, baby. No problem.
It was fun as always. We went on a million tangents, but with a subject matter like this, how can you not?
Exactly. You think people are upset that like fucking they talked more about the thing that is supposed to be in the movie that isn't in the movie than they should have.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get a lot of people that like return their DVDs and Blu-rays because they're like, this movie didn't have what it was supposed to have in it. So I'm sure they'll understand.
You think people who love that style of Pornhub video take like they buy this, they take it back, they're like, "Why are you returning this?" It's like this didn't even have any mom fucking in it. There's no
None
fucking
of it.
sister fucking in this movie.
It didn't. Could you imagine if there's like a weird, like foreign, like Thailand version or release DVD release that like instead of like the picture of Christy Swanson as like a 14-year-old, it has like her 2002 Playboy photo spread photos on the cover.
Photoshop with the brother, the same picture.
Meanwhile, her brother's some
Hell yeah.
unliked donkey guy. It's not even the actor from the movie.
Exactly.
Could be. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks again for listening once again, and we'll catch you back here next time in the movie graveyard.